Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Monday morning. It is now the 27th day of January, 2025, and this is the morning briefing coming to you from the home weather office where it's a bright and sunny but chilly morning with temperatures down in the 30s. A couple of notes. I said I might go on camera this morning. Yeah, still not ready. We'll see how this week goes, but I know you don't come to this to see my pretty face. Instead, you want to talk about the weather. We're going to talk about a couple of things today, but the main theme for today is, in the words of Andy Dufresne, hope is a good thing. Let's start off with what's going on in Southern California, because Northern California, we have clear skies. Southern California, we have seen some rain. And all the headlines over the last couple of days has been the fear of mudslides. Now, I'll show you some of the rain totals here in just a minute. They have had some really nice rain, but as I've been looking around this morning for any information, I have not seen any information about any significant mudslides going on or anything like that. We'll see how today goes, because they're still going to see some more rain and the possibility of some thunderstorms. But it has been interesting that when I've been looking for information this morning, the headlines have said mudslides in Southern California, but then when you actually read the article, it still says the fear of mudslides. So as of the time I'm recording this, I have not seen any information saying that there has been some damage or anything like that. And let's hope that continues, as they will continue to see a few showers today, but Northern California will be clear. So let me show you just how much rain they have had. And for that, I'll go to the California-Nevada River Forecast Center and use the observed precipitation. And this is some nice rain. As you can see in the Los Angeles area, some areas more than a half an inch of rain, and these little blue dots indicate areas that are over a half an inch, and some of these are up over an inch and a half. Now, these are 48-hour totals. This is nice. The first rain that they have had since really last spring. And so this is nice. And with colder temperatures, and actually they've had snow on the Grapevine, and the Grapevine was closed for a little while on I-5. So this is colder, it's wetter, and boy, if they can go through today without anything in the way of mudslides, this is just going to be beneficial rain for that area. And so again, we'll see how it goes. I think, yep, I've got this one. All right, so I can show you the HRRR for today. And as you can see, there's going to continue to see some showers through the middle part of the day. And the LA forecast office is still talking about the chance of some thunderstorms. But this is today around midday. And then look what happens into the afternoon. All of that diminishes. So it really looks as though maybe, as I'm recording this at 8:30 in the morning, if we can get through the next 6 to 10 hours without any problems from this rain, it looks as though they'll dodge that bullet quite nicely, because by the time we get into tonight and tomorrow, the threat of rain for Southern California will be gone. And again, we'll just be looking at that as some beneficial rain and snow for Southern California. All right, let's take a look at the big picture, because there are some changes on the way. Finally, hopefully. Here's how we stand this morning. Still have the big ridge dominating the Pacific Northwest. There's the low that's bringing the rain and snow to Southern California. And as we go through the next day or so, that low kicks out. We still have the high, meaning more dry weather for Northern California, and a bit of north flow from time to time as well. Let's see what day we're up to now. This is Thursday. Let's get into the day Friday. Oh, that ridge looks a lot different. It's now shifted off to the east, as we now have a trough digging in. And now we have more zonal-ish flow coming in off the Pacific. And the ridge has been pushed down to the south. The models have been pretty consistent with doing this. And this, from shifting the high that was up here to now down here, should signal a pattern change that could bring and open the door for chances of rain down the road. You see this flow coming in off the Pacific, and it goes, look at how it just kind of goes straight across the entire country. So that means that the big cold air that we've been talking about for the middle part of the country, the snow we saw down on the Gulf Coast, all of that is a pattern change. We no longer have the deep low up here at Hudson's Bay. So instead, this looks as though it's what we've been looking for, a shift in that pattern that we've been in for about the last month or so. Now, with that in mind, let me show you just how the last month has gone. These are the highs and lows for downtown Sacramento. And look at all these daytime highs in the 60s. So far, 20 of the 26 days have been over 60 degrees, but also note that the overnight lows from the 14th to, you could include this morning, because this morning's in the 30s as well, every morning in the 30s, every afternoon generally in the 60s. We've had a couple of days that stayed in the 50s like it did over the weekend, but this is just not fun. And then for precipitation, that's the only precip that Sacramento has recorded so far this month, the 0.30. So yeah, this isn't good. But what this shows you is that there has been a persistent pattern. We're not seeing changeable weather, obviously, but that is about to change. All right, so now that things are beginning to change, let's talk about the hope. Yeah. Guess what we're going to be talking about later on this week? Atmospheric rivers. We haven't talked about one of those, except for the lack of lately. So here we are with this very dry air mass over Northern California, limited moisture over Southern California, and then here's where the moisture is. And we haven't seen anything in the way of an AR sort of pattern come our way for the last, going on 4 weeks. This is Wednesday, this is Thursday, Friday. Now this looks pretty good. I'll show you what the models are showing in terms of rain, but it looks as though our first chance of rain is going to be on Friday. But look what happens as we head into the weekend. We have that fetch of moisture, and it just stays kind of pointed at our area. That's a pattern that we have not seen in about 3 weeks or so. And notice how we just that moisture just stays pointed our area. Doesn't mean it's going to rain all the time, as I'll show you in a minute, but does increase chances of rain with the cold and dry air being shifted to the north and precipitation being pushed toward California. All right, so with that in mind, now let's take a look at the way the morning GFS is showing this. Now, the GFS has gone back and forth on this over the last couple of days, and I'll warn you right now not to look at any of this too specifically, especially in terms of timing or amounts or anything like that. We're not looking at any rain until maybe Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and beyond. But it'll give you an idea of what we're looking at. But every time we see this model, which comes out every 6 hours, there are details that continue to change. And in terms of planning something specific, whether it's mountain travel or your weekend plans at this point, I wouldn't base anything on this just yet. All right, we're dry through the day on Thursday. This is Thursday midday. All right, this is Friday. This is Friday morning at around 8 o'clock in the morning. We now have rain on the north coast. We have maybe some snow into Lassen County, maybe some into Plumas County, but I think this is going to be one of those cases where Mendocino County and all the way up through Del Norte County, that's where we're going to get back into some nice rain. It's going to be that familiar pattern that the farther south you go, the less rain you see. But we're going to include a chance of showers on Friday. This is Friday night. And then this is Saturday morning. Look at that pattern again. This area of rain where the AR is pointed is on the north coast with, look at that, rain in the Tahoe area, meaning this is going to be relatively warm, at least to start. And look at that persistent rain. I'm going to go back and through this again. This is Saturday getting into Sunday. So that is a typical AR sort of a pattern where one area gets a lot of rain, areas, let's say south of Interstate 80, get hardly any rain. But the other thing that I'll caution you on here is, again, that right now the model has the line here. Well, it could be here. There really isn't that much difference in that. So we'll see where that line actually gets set up. But this is Sunday, and this is getting into Monday. That line dissipates. Then another chance of showers on Tuesday that's pointed a little bit farther south and a little colder, which would mean snow in the Sierra. And then that lasts into the day on Wednesday. And look at that, it opens the door for even more beyond that. We're getting out into fantasy land, but again, this is more next week. So from Friday into, well, maybe the following Friday, we have chances of rain. So that's why I say it looks as though the pattern is about to change. And right now, we're just hoping that the models are correct, that we're going to see that pattern change, and we will finally get back into rain and snow. But as I said at the beginning, hope is a good thing. Speaking of hope, I hope I see you. Sorry about that. So just a reminder that I'm excited about this coming up next month, that on February 22nd, Saturday, 2 to 5 at the David Girard Vineyards. That little photo expo. I'll be talking about photos. This is an event that we want you to register for, and I'll put a link in the description. So if you want to go to this, we do want people to register to have an idea of how many people are going to show up. And there is a fee. It's less for wine club members. It's $20 if you just if you're not a wine club member. But yeah. So if you want to come and chat and look at some of the photos, they'll be available for purchase. February 22nd, save the date, 2 to 5 p.m. at the David Girard Vineyards. It's on Cold Springs Road in Placerville. And they've got a beautiful location there. If you've never been to the David Girard Vineyards, it's worth a visit. It's a beautiful spot. So, as I said, hope to see you there. I'll put more information in a link to this more information in the description. That's everything I've got for you this morning. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.